Jonathan Majors' defense team just wrapped up, and they should be delivering closing statements here very, very shortly. But I want to get to the one and only day of defense witness evidence that they provided, and wow. Holy crap, man. Jonathan Majors was set up. This is just as bad. It might actually be worse in some aspects than what happened to Johnny Depp. I'm not even kidding, man. I seen the surveillance footage they played in court, and I was dumbfounded at what I seen. But before we get to that, we'll get to the rest of this. Jonathan Majors' defense team rests after one day of evidence, including a 911 call made by Starr after finding ex-girlfriend Grace Jabbari unconscious. Yeah, Jonathan Majors had his career ruined over a lie. Now, is anybody going to go ahead and read back any of the retractions, just like all of those slanderous articles? Hell no, the narrative's already out there. He's a girlfriend beater. Never fails, man. Majors' defense team has rested its case after one day of evidence in the criminal trial against Hollywood star. Marvel actor is on trial in New York for allegedly assaulting his former partner, Grace Jabbari, 30, on March 25th after she saw a text on his phone from another woman. I already laid that out in pretty good detail in my previous video on the subject, summarizing everything that the prosecution was laying out. And, well, I was poking some holes that, guess what, ended up becoming true. I know, right? It's like it's almost like I've been doing this stuff and thinking about this stuff for a while, so when I have some predictions on things, they tend to come true. Before I pat myself on the back too hard and then end up having his ex-girlfriend, allege assault against me, we'll continue. The defense concluded its case following a day of testimony using evidence that included photos of Jabbari's injuries and a 911 call on March 26th made by the star after finding Jabbari unconscious and played in court. Closing arguments are expected to begin Thursday before the jury begins deliberations, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Majors was seen leaving court with his new partner, actress Megan Good, who also was getting absolutely pilloried. Oh, you're standing up with an abuser. Oh, she's also under his spell. I've seen all this shit, man. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. Shortly after his team finished with their case on Wednesday, he has pleaded not guilty to 4 charges. And, well, the evidence so far really does point in that direction. The court released a tranche of evidence against Majors, including a video of the alleged assault. Yeah, about that. Videos, photos, and text messages paint an unflattering portrait of Majors. Does it really? Maybe we'll get a little bit over some of those text messages, which, yeah, they might be a little bit manipulative and might end up showing and exposing that he's definitely got a blue-pilled streak in him, but that's not assault, brother. Who was tipped as the next face of the superhero franchise. No, he's going to be the next Thanos, who, well, it's a terrible character, but okay, you can go ahead and not like his performance as Kang, but the guy doesn't deserve to have his entire career ruined just because you think that it would be a great way to turn around the MCU. No, it's going to need a lot more than just, putting in Doctor Doom with some sleight of hand here. Okay. Security camera footage shows Majors repeatedly shoving and scuffling a Jabbari back into their SUV. Oh, that's one way that you can tell that story, but we'll play that video very shortly. An audio played in court showed Majors berating Jabbari during an argument for not living up to the standards of Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King. Yeah, if you have that stand, and again, this is Jonathan Majors, a highly sought after Hollywood star. If he has standards and boundaries for his girlfriends, for his girls, and they're not living up to them, well, first of all, you demonstrate your boundaries. You don't explicate them, okay? She would have been hitting the fucking bricks, but you're right there outlining 2 black women, and she's as white as the driven snow, so you're already just trying to, fantasize certain things that she'll never be for you. And in the aspect of Michelle Obama, depending on what's between your ex's legs, you'll never be able to live up to that one either. A text message sent by the Creed 3 actor after a fight were also included in the evidence. Oh, as prosecutors say, they were part of a cruel and manipulative pattern of abuse. Yeah, I'd like to see the text messages that she sent as well, because, woo! The security footage, man, it's a trip. Messages also show Majors urging Jabbari not to seek medical help because it might spark an investigation. Okay, and there's also a photo of a dent in the wall after Jabbari claimed was caused when Major threw a candle at her during a fight in Los Angeles. So, hearsay? Oh, there's a dent in the wall because he threw a candle. If he threw a candle, like if it's one of them big old three-wick boys that are about, 5 pounds or something like that, there wouldn't be a dent in the wall. I'm just saying, man, that candle would still be in the wall. because Major's not a small guy, but the way that she acts, I think somebody was probably a little bit more prone to violence than the other. There's also Majors also made a 911 call after finding Jabbari unconscious the day after the alleged assault. The audio was played during the trial. Yeah, remember the whole story about Jabbari just ended up hooking up with I don't know if she fucked around on him, but chances are because she didn't respect him at all. She went and just got absolutely hammered with 3 random people on the street. Oh no, I'm sorry. She just only had 2 shots of liquor, but then Majors found her passed out the morning after. Yeah, right. I guess that bottle of champagne that she bought on his credit card was probably extra strong, right? He said they didn't find a pill bottle or other drugs at the scene to back up Major's belief. Okay. Oh, but some of the audio as transcribed from the 911 call. Hey, how are you? This is medical. Majors told the 911 dispatcher it's attempted self-deletion, I think. Now, for him to immediately jump to that, it's either, depending on some of the text messages that's out there, because that seemed to be one of his plays at leverage, was if you leave me, I'll just do the big self-oof. So he could be projecting right there, just going, oh, she's passed out. Oh, she just wants some attention. Or maybe that's a part of her MO. It seems like a very histrionic couple, if we're going to be completely honest about this. While the charges against Majors are only misdemeanors, the stakes could not be higher, and he's fighting for his reputation and his career. I think his reputation is already sullied, and his career, he might get it back. Maybe he's at least been floated that luxury for, well, one very obvious reason, but that's beside the point here. Since his arrest in March after the incident, the career has been put on hold, and Magazine Dreams, okay, his film about the troubled bodybuilder, which was, tipped for an Oscar, has been shelved. Majors played Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel series, yeah. And it might be ass and all that stuff, but that's not justification to play cheerleader for a fucking believe all women narrative. Fuck that. Even if he is cleared, the evidence that has now been released could hamper his comeback with Disney, which owns Marvel, due to the release. And it was due to release Magazine Dreams. Yeah, we know that. Okay. It includes a 30-minute video the night of March 25th, which shows Majors and Jabbari, a British-born choreographer and dancer, going out for dinner and returning home. The jury has heard that while driving back to their apartment in Manhattan, the driver said that, yeah, Majors never hit her. I cannot corroborate those claims at all. Message popped up on a Major's phone, which was from another woman called Cleopatra, saying, "Wish I was kissing you." And then she ended up spurging out. How bad was the spurg out? Funny you should ask, because we have the surveillance footage, and oh boy does it make my fucking blood boil. And because TMZ has the trademark on this, it's got their stupid fucking watermark on here. There's no audio to it anyways, okay? Obviously, this is CCTV from outside the vehicle. So I'm just going to go ahead and scrub along. Feel free. I'll link out to the video itself if you want to watch it, if you think that I'm removing context. But I assure you, I am not, because I will just narrate this over the top. So that's the SUV, okay? So the Indian driver in the front, Dot, not Feather, who testified, and we talked about his testimony in the previous video here recently, said that there was a scuffle in the back seat. Jabbari ended up leaving, wanting to get out of the vehicle, and then Majors tried to get her back into the vehicle. All the while, he's trying to get his phone back. So that's where we pick up with the security cam footage. So there you see her outside of the vehicle, right? As illustrated by the blonde hair, obviously. Oh, good. You can see my cursor. Okay, so yeah, that's her right there outside of the vehicle, yelling inside of the vehicle, and Majors is about to get out. So, okay, so he has her wrapped up around the shoulders. It's going to come a little bit more into focus. Thanks, watermark and all that stuff. Trying to put her back into the car because they're stopped in the middle of the street, by the way. So, okay, it's like, oh my God, you're being absolutely dramatic. This is causing way too much of a scene. Can we just fucking move on for a second? So wraps her up, okay? Isn't putting her in like a fucking, Chris Benoit chokehold or anything like that. Just simply get the fuck back to the vehicle. We'll deal with this when we get home, okay? And like I said, don't ever get to a point where you need to put hands on a chick, but if you're going to be moving her like that, make sure that the only time that I could see that being a viable option is if you just simply move her by the shoulders, is if you're in a tight enclosement, okay? In this type of a situation, it would just be, you're going to go ahead and spurg out. I'm just going to close the door and get the fuck out of here because, well, the way that this escalates, and it's something that I did approximate when it came to her injuries, I think, you know what, the way that she was getting put back in the vehicle, she ended up hitting her head on the top, and, well, that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, round of applause for myself there. All right, good one, called that one. So, okay, moving ahead, yeah, she ends up dunking her head on that one, but she's also being spastic, and, yeah, okay, anybody who's had to deal with unruly people trying to put them in a vehicle, not exactly all that uncommon. And then moving ahead a little bit, obviously. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit of a scuffle and all that stuff. She wants to, well, he's getting back in her seat or something like that, and then Majors is in there. I think they're still wrestling over a phone, or over Majors' phone, because she snatched that up to get out of the vehicle to begin with, and that's what initiated all this stuff. And then she just gets back out of the vehicle. She's all in heels at this time, by the way, okay? And then immediately, oh, see, Daily Mail didn't want to tell you this. Who's pushing who towards the curb? Oh, very interesting. It's almost like one's putting up more resistance than the other, just saying, and then it's going to become in clear focus who the abuser is in this situation. So, okay, so you have Majors right here, obviously the bigger shadow, as you can see, and then Jabbari, and they're wrestling over something. He's obviously trying to use his left hand. I'm thinking it's trying to get back the cell phone, by the way, okay? And she is not letting go at all. He just wants his phone back, and then he takes off. It's like, you can stay with the fucking car, okay? I'm getting the hell out of here. And yeah, she starts chasing after him. Oh, yes, your abuser, after all. So he's running down the street, she's chasing him, and yeah, that just continues to go on and on and on. And yeah, there's a jump cut that's right there, and he's, instead of playing Kang, should be playing the Flash, because holy man, he's out there and he's running, he's getting the fuck out of here, and this dumb bitch just about gets fucking clipped by a Subaru. Congratulations, bitch, okay? And then, yeah, no, they eventually just go completely and totally out of a frame on that one, and he's still running. But to Jabbari's credit in that one, she's actually, you know, running in heels, so that's actually pretty damn impressive. So as for her injuries that are right here, I don't know what we're supposed to take away from the neck picture. If I'm going to be completely honest, that looks like maybe a shadow. I legitimately don't know. But as for the finger, her right hand, as you can see, that's where a lot of the wrestling was after he was trying to get back his phone that was stolen from him. Yeah, a lot of that stuff seems to line up like that. So, as far as I can tell, brother, at worst, they were in, well, and I'll go ahead and concede that they were in some sort of a fucked up type situation. That's why I swear to God, man, RP saves lives and also saves careers, because if your bitch is acting out like that, okay, guess what? She belongs back to those streets where she was going later that night anyway, so you could have done herself a favor. Then you wouldn't have ended up in this situation. But no, the moment that you start arguing like a bitch, you've become a bitch. I should never get to that point. You should never allow a woman to elicit that kind of a response from you, because otherwise you just end up in these type of situations. And if it wasn't for the footage that was there, if it wasn't for the testimony not lining up, everybody would have been taking, just like they did at the time, the word of the woman. So I hope, man, I'm sure thinking, depending on how long closing arguments are going to go, we're probably going to be getting a decision one way or another on these charges here very shortly, because, well, given the time of the year it is and how concise the evidence has been, I'm not going to begin to know how the jury is going to go ahead and weigh the evidence, but I know what I seen in that footage right there. I'm telling you, Jonathan Majors was set up, and unfortunately, there is many such cases of that. It makes me physically ill. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.